Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikavaye Muhyantiya Suraya Tejo Bari Muridam Yata Vinimayo Yatra Trisalgo Mursha Tamna Svena Sata Nirasta Kwakam Satam Paramti Mai Dharma Projita Kaita Putra Paramo Nilma Saranam Satam Vedyam Bastavam Attarabhatusi Padam Tapatrayon Mulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamurikrite Kimbapare Ishvaraha Satyo Hutya Bharuta Tetra Kritivi Shushurshvi Tashana Nikama Kalpataru Kalitam Palam Sukamuka Tamrita Dravasamitam Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhuraho Rashika Bhuvi Papaka Sachidananda Rupaya Vishwa Patyadi Hetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Sri Krishnaya Vayam Namah Yam Prabhajantam Anupetam Apeta Grityam Dvipayano Piraha Katara Ajuhava Putreti Tammaya Taravo Vinedus Tam Sarvabhuta Hridayam Munim Anatosmi Yasvanubhava Akila Shrutisharamekam Adhyatma Deepam Atitir Satam Tamontam Samsarinam Karuna Yaha Purana Guhyam Tam Vyasasunum Payami Kurum Muninam Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasvatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye Kamaniya Kishora Mukta Murte Kalave Nukvanita Dritananendoho Mamavachi Pijrimbitam Murare Madhurim Nakanikapi Kapi Kapi Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Putale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachari Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachasha Deshatarine Andenanda Brajatrinam Padarenum Abhishinasha Yasam Harivato Gitam Punati Puvanatrayam Sri Kopi Charanara Vinda Paramana Ve Namaha Pitambaram Karabirajita Chakrashankam Komudaki Sara Sijam Karuna Samudram Radha Sahayamiti Sundara Mandaha Sam Patale Yasha Manisham Hridi Papayami Mukam Karoti Pachalam Komalam Kojayam Venum Samaloyam Kumaraka Veda Vedya Parambrahma Pasatam Prato Mama Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Grim Yakripa Tamaham Bande Paramananda Madhavam Salvatara Govinda Nama Sankirtanam Govinda Govinda Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Haribo everyone, please welcome to our Tuesday Sangha. Thank you for all your participants' attendance today. And thank you, Patanjali Muni Prabhu, again for giving enlightening class for every Tuesday. You're always there for us. I just will, now we can start the class. And before we start the class, please forgive me if we do any mistake or any offense by accident done that. Please forgive me. Thank you. So now we're going to request Vicky Shem to do summary of the class from last class, please. Thank you. Haribo. Yeah, please unmute yourself, Pinky. Please, thank you.
Okay, yeah. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. And please forgive me if I make any mistake. Okay, so the summary from the class of the 17th of November, Patanjali Muni Prabhu started off with a verse, with the 11th canto, 23rd chapter, verse 44. This is a very important verse for us to understand the difference between Atma and Manaha. We know Atma and Paramatma. If we understand Atma, then we can understand Paramatma. There are three subjects in this verse: Supersoul, I, and the mind. It's difficult to translate the Atma, so here it's translated as the Supreme Soul. Atma has many concepts. So how can we understand what Atma means? Like, for example, someone can be called as a mother, a daughter, or a friend, depending on the relationship. In this way, we must understand the Atma as the context in the verse. What is Atma? Supreme Soul or living entity. According to Prahlad, the first quality of Atma is Nitya, which means eternal. And the mind is Chanchal, which means it's always fluctuating. Sometimes the Atma is translated as the mind. When Atma refers to the soul or super soul, it takes this quality. For example, if a person can be role and character change. In this way, the same word according to the context, we must know how to understand and extract the meaning of it. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 5, Krishna says, one must deliver one's own mind or one's own conditioned soul by the mind. So the same Atma is translated here as soul. Don't put your conditioned soul into degradation. The mind can be conditioned soul or enemy. The Atma can be translated in various ways. We ourselves can also be taken into different roles. Sometimes we can be devotees, sometimes we can be children or parents, but we as an identity, we don't change. Back to the verse, the Brahmana understood the difference between Atma and Manaha. That's why he could tolerate the insult. When there is a moment of conflict or anger due to the external element, there is an external element. Well, the Atma is not affected by the external features or happenings. Whatever you do, the Atma is not endeavoring, but the mind which goes with that Atma is always struggling. The mind is always acting. So what is Atma? We have another example. Atma is Hiranmaya, which is enlightenment. The example is when gold is covered by mud, we can't see it shine. But when we clear the mud, then we can see it shine. Atma, the transcendental quality of us, when it's covered by ego, our mind doesn't shine. However, because it doesn't shine, that does not mean that the quality isn't there. In the Sri Ishopanishad, it said, when the sun is covered by clouds, it doesn't mean that the sun disappears. Krishna says here why we shouldn't let ourselves down. Because some things shine, some things are pure and full of knowledge or bliss. They're all within you, but don't let it get covered by certain surroundings. Take it out, bring it into light. Once you bring the light out, it becomes your best friend. We may have another example, we may have many followers on social media, but once you turn off the social media, they're not there anymore, they leave you. But the Atma is within you and it will never disappear. Don't make your mind your enemy. Krishna is in our heart and covered, and you have to reveal, and he has to reveal himself to the devotee. Let the devotee see the supreme truth. Krishna is looking down at us all the time. Krishna sees the soul as a friend. Our true friend is Krishna ultimately. When we forget Krishna, then we identify the external features of ours, and then we experience distress and ups and downs. Then, what is Manaha? Mind is that which projects the image of the material world upon him. Whatever you see is an image of the object which is upon you. It's projected. Who projects this image? Our mind projects the image of the world. Sometimes you see the world as good or bad, but the world doesn't change. Our mind and perception change. Like there's a saying, the world, if you want to change something, you must change, you should be the change first. But yet we have the tendency to change not our mind, but the external, whatever we observe. Like if we are in a relationship problem, we try and change our partner, but we must change our perception. So we usually see what is suitable for our own interest and take a shortcut by changing the external. In the Bhagavatam, it says, your mind is Swalinga. It projects the image of the world. If you want to see any change, you have to change your mind first. Mana Swalinga Parigraha. Engage with desire, and then action develops, and then bondage. While we have certain desires, we then become entangled. And it's all because of the association with the modes of nature, the gunas. So the Atma doesn't change, but the mana changes. It has a changing nature. So we can change the world by changing our own perception. So the Damodar Leela is all about changing the world. Krishna is dependent and Mother Yashoda is the shelter. So why does Krishna do this? To invoke the love of his devotees. He wants love from his devotees. In the first verse of the Damodar Astakam, it starts off with the I offer the obeisances to the Supreme Controller, the embodiment of Sachitananda. So it's like a Mangala Charan. So we always seek the blessings of our seniors, and it helps to remove all the obstacles. Krishna is running away in fear of Mother Yashoda. Krishna has beautiful earrings which shine in Gokul and in the heart of the gopis and the cows. We come to hear about Krishna after many births. Out of thousands of people, hardly anyone knows Krishna and understands him. Krishna is not easy to catch. Krishna gives mukti easily, but doesn't give bhakti yoga easily. If you have true love, then Krishna allows you to catch him very quickly. He allows us to grab him quickly in this Kali Yuga. Like, for example, when we attend our Tuesday classes, internally, it is Krishna who brings us here to the class every Tuesday.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's really wonderful. Is it a long way to go now? Because we are running over time.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
No. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. So because
Yeah.
people can do.
Okay.
I think we almost covered almost everything what been said, apart a few points, which is So thank you very much, Pinky. It was wonderful hearing you. And I would request Patanjali to please unmute yourself and do the demon story. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Please accept my obeisances and please forgive me if I make any mistakes. So I'm going to talk very briefly about Vyamasura, the bat demon. So I'll briefly talk about the pastimes, then talk about who he was in his previous life, and then right at the end, I'm going to briefly talk about the significance of the pastimes. So Lord Krishna's childhood years in Vrindavan sees him confronting and killing 12 demons and delivering the sons of the two sons of Kuvera. Each of the demons represent a fault or a vice and anartha that act as a barrier to us to be able to achieve pure love and devotion in Krishna consciousness. Today we are going to talk about Vyamasura and see what or which anartha he represents. The pastime is, after killing the Keshi demon, Krishna with his friends, the same morning he heard prayers from Narad Muni, and then later in the morning Krishna went to play with his cowherd boyfriends on the top of Govardhan Hill. They were imitating the roles of thieves and police. Some of the boys became police constables, some became thieves, and some took the role of sheep or lambs. The thieves were to try to steal the lambs or the sheep. While they were thus enjoying their childhood pastimes, a demon known by the name of Vyamasura appeared on the scene. He was sent by Kamsa to kill Krishna. He was the son of another great demon named Mayasura, and he was a very powerful magician who could fly in the sky. Vyamasura, to deceive Krishna and his friends, using his potencies, transformed himself into a tiny little simple innocent cowherd boy and disguised himself amongst the other cowherd boys. Keeping to his plan of causing harm, he played the part of a thief and stole many boys who were playing the parts of lambs. In Kamyavan, one of the 12 forests of Rajamandala, there is a cave by the side of a hill now called Vyamakuva. One after another, Vyamasura took away almost all the boys and put them in this cave and sealed the mouth of the cave with stones. Seeing his friends disappear one by one, Krishna grew curious. Then he spotted a cowherd boy who looked different from the rest. Krishna realized that something was amiss and recognized the demon. He could understand the trick the demon was playing, and so he went up to this boy, grabbed his collar, and caught hold of him exactly as a lion catches hold of a lamb, as a police catches hold of a thief who has deceived, stolen, and has done wrong. Fearing an attack from Krishna, Vyamasura, using his magical powers, instantly changed himself into a big monster. In his pride, the demon tried to expand himself like a hill to escape the arrest like a thief does. However, Krishna did not allow him to get out of his clutches. The battle was so heavy that the earth began to shake. To steady the wobbling earth, Balarama pressed his foot on the rock, into the rock. Vyamasura was thrown to the ground with great force by Krishna and was killed instantly, just like an animal is killed in the slaughterhouse with very little dignity, despite the demon being so proud of his greatness. After killing the Vyamasura demon, Lord Krishna released all his friends from the caves of the mountain. He was then praised by his friends and by the demigods for these wonderful acts, and then he returned to Vrindavan with his cowherd friends. So that's the past time, and I will now briefly talk about the previous life of Vyamasura. So according to the Garga Samhita, in his previous life, Vyamasura was a great devotee king named Bhimaratha from Varanasi. After some time, he renounced his kingdom and went to the Malaya hills to perform austerities. One day, the sage Pulastya came to his hermitage with many disciples, but Bhimaratha, again in his pride, neglected to welcome them properly. So Pulastya cursed him to become a demon, but he then blessed him that he would be liberated by Krishna. Bhimaratha then took birth as Vyamasura, the son of Mayasura, in his next life. That was the reason why he took birth as Vyamasura. And now I talk about the anartha that the demon represents. So the killing of Vyamasura illustrates the need to give up pride and to give up the company of thieves and cheating imposters who disguise themselves as devotees, but who are actually fake devotees. Vyamasura represents the anartha of wrong association with these false, deceitful devotees and of falling into the trap of Maya through unfavorable associations. That type of association that distracts us from pure love and devotion. Sometimes unfavorable associations can appear to us in very pleasing forms as friends, but Vyamasura appeared as a very innocent cowherd boy, as Krishna's friend. When Maya wants to get us, she will present situations and people that will appear as very pleasing to us, telling us that we will enjoy very much and that they will be good for us in life and Krishna consciousness. But in effect, they are just the opposite. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that not only unfavorable associations, but also too much attachment due to false ego to wealth, knowledge, or accomplishments is also wrong. This is how subtle Maya can be harmful to us. Even if we accomplish great things, if we become proud of our accomplishments, if it feeds our egos, it becomes Vyamasura. Rishabdeva in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 5, and Text 2 says, Mahat Sevam Dvaram Ahura Vimuktes Tamodvaram Yasitam Sangi Sangam. That means one can attain the path of liberation from material bondage only by rendering service to highly advanced spiritual personalities. Association with great souls is the door that opens the path to liberation. However, association with people too much attached to various distractions, to their egos, to ideas that distract from faith in bhakti and in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is harmful to us, although they appear to us as pleasing, although they appear very pleasing to us initially. Association to ones like Vyamasura can create a great impediment to our spiritual progress. And that is the demon story. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Patanjali. It was a very enlightening story. Thank you very much. I just request Patanjali Muni Prabhu to just take over now, please. Yeah, 5 minutes running behind, so you will get 5 minutes left today. Okay. Sorry.
Thank you for the summary, and thank you for the story of demon. As you see, gradually we are getting to know that all the demon, it was in Vrindavan. At the same time, it's here with us and right now. So that here Vyamasura represents pride within us. At the same time, wrong association. So Christmas is coming up. So also lockdown also no more. At least during the Christmas, it seems like that we want to meet the family, meet the friends. So here, it giving us insight then how to deal with association with relatives, those who are not favorable. Maybe someone maybe inimical towards our practice. So then we have to think how to deal with it. So if Krishna give us insight, then according to this story, anyone have idea? So during the Christmas, we are having we meeting with all the relatives and friends, so that some of them might not be right association, but we have to be there. So then how can we deal with it? Anyone has an idea?
Okay, if anybody would like to speak, just please unmute yourself, please. Thank you. Or raise the hand. It's okay. I think we have to deal with Patanjali Muni Prabhu. I would just say that it would be easy for us just to go, though we know they're not the right association, but we go for, like, we know the Krishna is within everyone. So we go with that intent that one day maybe something will spark them by associating with us. If we are true devotee of Krishna, then maybe something will change within them through us. That's what I was saying. So we go in that mindset. I would go.
Yes, it's not easy.
Not easy, but we can practice. Yeah, like
So my Guru Maharaj used to say that you always be with them.
Yeah.
But you have to be with them like a spy. You should have your own identity within you. Externally, you mingle with them. Externally, you almost play and then having a fun with them as usual. But internally, don't let go of your mission. So he used to say that you have to be espionage. So externally, you look exactly the same as them, but internally, you have to have your own strong goal in mind. So, in other words, rather than we taking association, we giving them association subtly. So this is the tip, so that we don't try to be sticking out. So that will have a negative impact. But and yet, by giving them association subtly, very intelligently, so that we can give them chance of knowing Krishna, or give them chance of devotee association. So in this way, we all we have to be comfortable to play a role in a way that we are among them. At the same time, we maintain the dignity as a devotee. Yeah. So today class, let us read first, and then we go further. So today verse is a 45th verse of 23rd chapter in 11th canto.
Okay, you're going to share the screen?
I'll read the Sanskrit and then you can read the translation.
No,
Yeah?
sorry, you're going to screen the, you're going to share the
Yeah,
screen.
I'll share screen, no problem, okay.
Please, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Tanam svadalmo niyamo yamascha srutam cha karmani cha sat pratani salve mano nigraha lakshanata parahi yogo manasa samadhi. Okay. Translation, please.
Chetna, Hare Krishna Chetna.
Hare Krishna. Charity, prescribed duties, observance of major and minor regulative principles, hearing from scripture, pious works, and purifying vows all have as their final aim the subduing of the mind. Indeed, concentration of the mind on the Supreme is the highest yoga. Haribol.
Haribol, thank you. So this verse, as well as all other verses which spoken by Brahmana, it has a lot of information, and also this is, as I mentioned before, this is a conclusion of Upanishad, and there is element of Bhagavad Gita, an element of all other prana and all other shastras. So this is truly it is essence. In order to taste this essence, we need to little bit dilute in a way that we analyze one word by word, so that what does it mean by it. So all this word is Sanskrit word is actually a non-translatable. It has own unique meaning. So that in order to have a unique, understand that unique meaning, that it requires many words of English. So that, but let us try to attempt. So by the mercy of Krishna, so that some understanding, I hope, comes from within. So in order to understand this verse, let us look at one concept. So anyone can tell me the difference between sign and symbol?
Yes.
What is the difference of sign and symbol?
I think everybody just raised
Please join our discussion. It's samvada, not monologue. It has to be dialogue.
Yeah, I mean, Patanjali is there, but nobody else really wants to speak, so yeah.
Okay, Patanjali, would you like to give us your understanding? What's the difference between sign and symbol?
Haribol Prabhu, I could be completely wrong there. I think one is personal, the other is impersonal. So, so a symbol can is just there, an impersonal symbol, but sign is more directed. So God gives us a sign, or you know, if we want to go to a department, want to go to a tax department, we are signposted to that department. So it is more direct, more personal, whereas symbol is more of a generic kind of thing. I could be completely wrong.
No, it's a very good way of understanding. Actually, very similar to what I'm going to say. As you mentioned, sign is more direct. Sign normally gives us one meaning, and sign is more external. So, for example, traffic sign. So, red means you have to stop. Green means you go. Or yellow means you have to wait. So red shouldn't mean that either you can go, either you can stop. It cannot be mixed. And also, as you mentioned, that when you go to department, so here, traffic department, then it should be traffic department. Or this is a criminal department, then you should go to criminal department. So one department has one sign. It shouldn't be mixed. So that's why we say sign. But symbol is a bit different. Symbol can have various meanings. So, for example, when you go to temple, there is a Hanuman flag. So that Hanuman flag, we don't say that is a sign. We say this is a Hanuman flag symbol. Why? Because that flag represents the victory, or Hanuman's strength, or Hanuman's devotion, or Hanuman's dedication, Hanuman's courage. So this one flag can have many, many meaning. So this is called symbol. So sign normally gives us one straight meaning. It cannot be mixed any other way. But symbol can be interpreted in many different ways. So another example is then when Hanuman went to Sita, the Sita didn't believe about Hanuman saying. Then Hanuman showed Ram's ring. Then the Ram's ring itself can be the sign, but it can be the symbol also. That Ram's ring means still Ram loved Sita. And still another meaning is that Hanuman saying, I'm truly servant of Lord Ram. And then this ring can represent now Sita is safe. Now Sita is under protection. So in that way, the one ring can be sign as well as symbol. But we more in verses, almost all the Sanskrit word is symbolic. It's not a signal. So that's why we need to have guidance of Srila Prabhupada. Otherwise, the same verse, we can have a wrong conclusion. It can have a totally opposite meaning. So do you remember Bhagavad Gita, when Durana said that our strength is unlimited, aparayaptam. But at the time, Krishna was smiling. Why? But the same word can be interpreted as not sufficient, insufficient. It can be interpreted that in opposite way. So that Arjuna and Krishna are saying that you think in that way, but we think the other way. That's why this verse also very much symbolic, each word. So here, the meaning of this verse is that Dhanam Svadharma Niyama Yama Shrutam Kalma, and then Sat Brata, Sapratani, all this leading to Mano Nigraha. So the subduing mind, controlling the mind. So the purpose of Dhanam, the purpose of Dharma, the purpose of Niyama, purpose of Yama, fundamental purpose is for, here it says, controlling the mind. Mano Nigraha. Why? It says here, Para Yogaha. The highest yoga is manasa samadhi, the samadhi of the mind. So then let us look at what is dhanam, giving charity. What is mean by giving charity? What is the true meaning of dana, the charity? That one we have to understand. So in general, charity means what? Charity means we give something. Yes?
Yeah, we gave something for the good cause.
Give it to good cause.
Yeah.
But Krishna's definition of charity is a bit different. So now, in order to be Krishna conscious, we have to in tune with Krishna's definition of charity. Yeah. So Krishna's definition of charity is, last week I introduced briefly. So let me share with you again that verse. So in this way, you will see all different aspects of spiritual concept and also different aspects of what Krishna really wants us, how we can progress in spiritual practice. So here it says, if you look at the second line, Danda Nyasa Param Dhanam. So Dhanam in general, you're giving something. Yes, no doubt, there is charity. You give flowers to Krishna, you bring the rice to Krishna, and sometimes some people in need, we give charity. We give there are many charity organizations who helps those who are in need. This is no doubt charity, dhanam. Dhanam, we call it, dhanam is actually money, but the dhanam is charity. But out of all the charity, there is different level. Yes. So when you say devotee, there are young, new joined devotee, and also those who practicing many years, but those who are very much elevated devotee also. So in this way, dhanam itself also different category, different tiers of dhanam, charity. But out of all the dhanam, the highest param dhanam is danda nyasaha. Nyasa means giving up. But danda, what is danda? The stick, or punishment, or aggression, or hatred. So danda nyasaha param dhanam. So giving up the aggression, giving up the ill feeling towards anybody, any living entity is called the best charity. This is param dhanam. So why do we need this kind of dhanam? When we have mindset of this true charity or highest charity, then that lead us to control our mind. Then when we control mind, then what happens next? Then deep down we have mental equilibrium. Mental stability comes. That mental stability leading us to true bhakti. Externally, there may be turmoil, but then during the turmoil, deep down within our own heart, if the bhakti is strong, that will not be influenced by the external influence. Quality of our life depends on quality of our experience. So for example, someone may live very big house with very expensive car, but within that within that house, the family relationship is not sweet. Then even if they're living in that big house, that doesn't mean that they are happy. Why? Because their happiness depends on, looks like if we have a big house, then we'll be happy, but it's not. Actually, our happiness depends on the sweet relationship. So the quality of our life depends on quality of that experience. A few weeks ago in the class, I mentioned also sometimes we want to make a journey to Vrindavan to have a pilgrimage, so that we want to have some different experience of devotion. But during that, for example, that parikram or journey to India, if we have some bad experience, or plane may be delayed or sometimes canceled, or during the journey there are so many unfavorable people comes and harassing us, and then sometimes we get unfortunately we get sick, or many instances it happens. So if we have a constantly bad experience, then journey itself, although we intended to spiritual journey, then doesn't feel that good. So in this way, the purpose was good, and yet that good intention, if we constantly going through the bad experience, then actually don't feel good about it. So in this way, when you look at our happiness, it looks like it depends on external object, external features, external position, external achievements. But actually, it depends on the quality of our own experience. That determines our happiness. So then, if we know that our quality of life is depending on the quality of our experience, then we know that our attitude, if you have a good experience continuously, then our attitude also become positive. So in this way, Danda Nyasa, the other way around. If you look at this one, being positive rather than Danda, trying to blame everybody, trying to criticize everybody, trying to being negative, somehow certain grudge within us, Nyasa, you give them up. That invoke Dhanam, the charity. Your positive attitude towards yourself, towards your family, towards your society, towards all the instant, even including coronavirus. If you have a certain positive look, that is called dhanam. So this is the meaning of the dhanam. So here today's verse, it says here, the Bhikshu Gita, the Bhikshu saying that dhanam svadharmo niyamo yamascha. So all this one word leading us to how to control the mind. So bear in mind at this point. So first one, I explained about the different aspect of dhanam, the charity. Next one is svadharma, dharma. So what is dharma? So I'd like to invite one of you, so that what is your understanding of dharma? Anybody would like to share?
Anybody who don't speak always, would you like to just unmute yourself and say, Rupa? Okay, Rupa.
Is it dharma you're asking? Dharma?
Meaning of dharma.
Okay, dharma means our nature or our innate, what we are supposed to do. That's our dharma.
Madhu Prabhu also is there, would like to say
something.
Okay.
Actually, I mean, dharma is what's right, what's moral. What is
dharma is what's right, what's wrong. Okay. Anyone?
There is another one. Nimisha Saigal would like to say something. Nimisha?
Dharma is something that we do that pleases Krishna.
What we please Krishna is the dharma, our dharma. That's a very fundamental, yes. Okay.
And there's another one is Zoomism. I'm not sure what's the name. Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. It's me. Dharma also represents like the nature of the fire is heat is a dharma of means it represents the nature also. Means the root meaning of dharma is that what is our prime duty, basically. What's the purpose? What's the prime duty? And the duty is, like Bhagavatam says, the prime duty of is to love God, towards love of Godhead. So that is our dharma. There is no actually equivalent of dharma in English. We say it's religion, but it is not the actual Sanskrit meaning of this. It is basically different. It's a much different form, religion alone.
Thank you very much.
Thank
You
Thank
hit
you.
the head of nail. So there is no English equivalent for the Dharma. But and yet, if we try to understand Dharma, then still we have to use English, although we don't have equivalent word. So the Dharma word itself also quite symbolic, which means it has many meanings. Supposedly, Rupa mentioned that intrinsic nature. So nature of salt has to be salty. Nature of sugar has to be sweet. So in this way, the Dharma is something intrinsic nature or character. That's correct. And also Dharma means our duty also. So Kshatriya Dharma is to protect. And then Vaishya Dharma is to produce. And then Sudra Dharma is to serve. And then Brahmana Dharma is knowing Veda, knowing Shastra, and then teach the Shastric rules and regulations. This is the Brahmana Dharma. This is their duty. That's true also. And so Dharma and Adharma, which means what is wrong, what is right, we have to know. And also what is justice, also this is also Dharma. Sometimes we say there is a Adharma, that means then this is not just justice. So that's correct also. So you all right? And also finally we heard that the Dharma is what we please Krishna. That is called Dharma. This is our fundamental Dharma. The base of all the Dharma is that to please Krishna. So here, if you look at the screen, Krishna says what Dharma is. Dharma mat bhakti krito prokto. Proktaha means that is said or it is said. Krishna doesn't say, I say Dharma is this. Krishna never says like that. So Krishna says, I heard in this way. So Krishna very humbly represent the Dharma. So that Dharma means bhakti, devotional service to me. Devotional service, great. Whatever you please to Krishna, that is our fundamental Dharma. So that their all other Dharma is correct. But and yet, the highest Dharma is to please Krishna. So that we understand our own Svadharma, our Dharma should, for example, our duty should lead to ultimately to please Krishna. So in the middle, the bridge, our Dharma and the pleasing Krishna is actually controlling the mind. So when we try to control our mind through our duty, through our morality and ethics, through our nature and character, that is Dharma, and also that is actually pleasing Krishna, and also that is leading to our controlling the mind. Ultimately, when you look at this from the beginning, from the first verse of Bhikshu Gita up to now, essence of all the Upanishad, essence of all the Shastra, you can say in one word, quite simple, controlling the mind. Then why we controlling the mind and how we controlling the mind? The secret is knowing of who we are, who Krishna is. That why we have to know who we are, why we have to know who Krishna is, that by knowing Krishna, we know the understanding of the creation, all material action and reaction, so that this is leading us actually the understanding of whole makeup of entire universe. Then we know the entire universe, then we know where we are exactly. Then if you know where we are exactly, then nothing get to be confused about our life. So this is actually one by one is leading to ultimately, first of all, it gives us our fundamental shanti, peace, fundamental philosophical understanding of who we are, and then naturally invoke love for Krishna. So this is a whole process. So when the last line, it says Manasa Samadhi. When we reach this line, I'll explain further about the Samadhi. So that while explaining that one, I'll explain a bit further. So let's go next. So Dhanam Svadharma. So we discussed about Dharma. Dharma here, translation, it says actual religious principle. Here, Dharma, we have to translate somehow. So Dharma here explained, translated as the religious principle. But it shows in one aspect, and yet we have to translate it somehow one way or another. Are stated to be those that lead one to my devotional service. So can anyone read this translation, please?
Okay. Chetna, can you please read this translation? Thank you.
Actual religious principles are stated to be those that lead one to my devotional service. Real knowledge is the, and then I can't read. Real knowledge is the awareness that reveals my all-pervading presence. Detachment is complete disinterest in the objects of material sense gratification, and opulence is the 8 mystic perfections, such as Anima Siddhi.
So here, yeah, 11th canto is mentioned in 19th chapter. So in 19th chapter, Krishna gives us each word definition, so that there is a word to look at it. And now we look at niyama and yama. So anyone who practices yoga, they are familiar with the Ashtanga yoga, 8 steps of yoga system. So that yam, niyam, asana, pranayam, pratyahara, dharana, dhyanam, samadhi. So this is 8 steps of yoga. So final step is samadhi. First step started with yama. That's why ashta is 8. So it's called ashtanga yoga. So here yama and niyama, it translated his yama as the major regulation of spiritual practice, and the niyama, it says here, the regulation of day-to-day life. So in this way, it's difficult to understand what really yama is. But Krishna gives a detailed explanation about the yama. So why? Because look at here, again, Uddhava asking, Krishna, I really want to know what yama is. Can you give us some more of detailed information? So here, Shri Uddhava Uvacha. Can you read the screen?
We can, but
okay,
no translation.
This okay.
Yeah.
So here, Sanskrit said, Shri Uddhava Uvacha. Uddhava asking Krishna, Yama kati vida prokto. So what is yama? Niyamo bhari karshana. And also what is niyama? Ka shama dhamma Krishna. Oh Krishna, what is shama? What is dhamma? So let us look at the translation, how intelligently Uddhava asking so many questions to Krishna.
Okay, yeah, that's the Meena Kavya. Can you please read this?
Yeah, okay.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
I will.
Sri Uddhava said, My dear Lord Krishna, O chastiser of the enemies, please tell me how many types of disciplinary regulations and regular daily duties there are. Also, my Lord, tell me what is mental equilibrium, what is self-control, and what is the actual
Sorry, we couldn't hear you, Minakabya.
heroism.
We couldn't hear you.
Sorry. What are charity? Can you hear me now?
Yes, yeah, clear, yeah.
Okay. What are charity, austerity, and heroism? And how are reality and truth to be described? What is renunciation and what is wealth? What is desirable? What is sacrifice? And what is religious remuneration? My dear Keshava, O most fortunate one, how am I to understand the strength, opulence, and profit of a particular person? What is the best education? What is actual humility? And what is real beauty? What are happiness and unhappiness? Who is learned and who is a fool? What are the true and false paths in life? And what are heaven and hell? Who is indeed a true friend and what is one's real home? Who is a rich man and who is a poor man? Who is wretched and who is an actual controller? O Lord of the devotees, kindly explain these matters to me along with their opposites. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you.
So Uddhava give a question. Why? Because we have a certain understanding of all these questions. What are the charity? What are the austerity, heroism? What are the happiness? What is unhappiness? We have a certain concept of all this. But Uddhava giving question about the concept we think we know already. Think about it. Why Uddhava asking this question to Krishna? Which means the way we know may not be necessarily in line with the way Krishna telling us what happiness is, what unhappiness is, what is a heaven, what is a hell. We may have understanding, but that understanding may be molded by certain philosophers from our family or from our education or from our own experience. But what Uddhava does here in 11th canto, that he gives us new understanding or refine our understanding of all these concepts. So once we have these concepts clearly, then truly we understand what is really spiritual life and who really Krishna is and what is Krishna's expectation from us. This gives understanding of how we should live in this material world without any conflict, without any confusion. So here certain concept already in this class is mentioned. For example, charity. Just now we mentioned charity. Charity means we giving up the aggression, giving up the ill feeling, and also bring up our own compassion. This is true charity. And also previous classes mentioned that heaven means predominance of goodness is heaven. Hell means predominance of ignorance. Tamagun is hell. And also we mentioned before that really rich man is that those who have plenty of good quality is rich man. Those who are constantly unsatisfied in their life is called poor man. So when it comes to this chapter, we'll go through one by one. But here now, at least let us focus on yama and niyama. So what is yama? What is regulation? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by the spiritual regulation, spiritual practice? So then here Krishna answers a bit detailed. So I'll share with you. So Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. So before I go through Sanskrit, let's read the translation first. Then I'll explain a little bit of Sanskrit. Yes, please. Krishna's answer is here.
Okay, Minakabya, please.
Yeah. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, non-violence, truthfulness, not coveting or stealing the property of others, detachment, humility, freedom from possessiveness, trust in the principles of religion, celibacy, silence, steadiness, forgiveness, and fearlessness are the 12 primary disciplinary principles. Internal cleanliness, external cleanliness, chanting the holy names of the Lord, austerity, sacrifice, faith, hospitality, worship of me, visiting holy places, acting and desiring only for the supreme interest, satisfaction and service to the spiritual master are the 12 elements of regular prescribed duties. These 24 elements bestow all desired benedictions upon those persons who devotedly cultivate them. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna. So here these 24 elements, it says the first 12 primary disciplinary principles is called yama, and the second 12 disciplinary principle is called niyama. So when you look at first primary disciplinary principle, you start with non-violence, ahimsa, and you look at the Sanskrit, ahimsa, satyam, asteyam, asango, hrir, asanchaya, etc. So when you look at this one, you'll see in general, it's all about internal discipline. So that you have to be truthful, you shouldn't stealing, or you shouldn't coveting, or you develop humility, and also here ahimsa, non-violence, and also celibacy, silence, steadiness, forgiveness, fearlessness. So all this is internal quality, internal discipline. And then after that, it goes relationship. So here, external cleanliness, also internal cleanliness, external cleanliness, chanting holy names, austerity, sacrifice, faith, hospitality is more or less a little bit external relationship which connect with society and the family, how to live. And visiting holy places, acting, desiring only for the supreme interest, satisfaction, service to spiritual master, all these things, 12 elements of niyama. So in this way, yama, niyama, understanding of it, putting to practice itself, is a huge topic. But this huge topic is mentioned here only one line, within one line, only by one word, yama and niyama. So here, Bhikshu Gita, the Avanti Brahmana, is mentioned that how I got such a mental equilibrium and such a stability in mind, even if I went through so much of harassment by other people. The Avanti Brahmana giving a secret. So because I had a strong understanding of all this, that's why I could not react all the challenges. So here, now, what we have to bear in mind is that this one is not just for reading it. It has to apply to our own day-to-day life. So dhanam, dharma, yama, niyama we just read, and also shrutam, the hearing the shastra, and then kalmani. Here, again, I'm coming back to text 45 we are discussing. Kalmani, the pious act. And then here, sat bratani, good vow, true vow. So in our life, we make a certain good vow for our spiritual upliftment. So all this quality we need to develop. Why? If we develop this quality, this will lead to mano nigraha, controlling the mind. So that once we reach this controlling mind, then this is called para yoga. So this para yoga is non-different from manasa samadhi. So that this will lead to our samadhi. So then question arises. So what is a samadhi of mind? So I'm sure you heard more than me, more often, that samadhi. So let me hear from your understanding that what is samadhi. So could you share your thought on this, please?
Yeah, please kindly just unmute yourself and So we let you speak. Thank you. Or raise your hand.
Hello. Haribo.
Hare Krishna. Who is that? Sorry, it's Vasani Didi here. Haribo.
It's Vishalini.
Yeah.
Samadhi means total absorption, total focusing on the mind on the Supreme.
Total focus on mind on the Supreme. Okay, good. Thank you. And also anyone?
Soul completely situated in the super soul.
Completely situated in the super soul. Yes, that's good. Anyone else?
Prabhuji,
Yeah,
merging of soul with super soul.
Merging the soul and super soul.
Yeah.
Yes.
What does it mean by merging it? Become one? Or what is it? What does it mean by merging?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. So we become Krishna? Is that Samadhi?
I think that's moksha, isn't it? I'm not sure.
Moksha.
That's moksha. That's the 8th step of the Ashtanga Yoga, is Samadhi.
8th step Samadhi. Patanjali wants to say something. What is Samadhi, Patanjali?
Very similar to what Prabhuji just mentioned. Unification of mind with Krishna. So you don't become one with Krishna, but whatever Krishna desires you to desires, or whatever Krishna wants you to become or think, your thoughts and Krishna's thoughts unify and become as one.
Oh, yeah, that's a very good understanding. Like, for example, young lovers, they see each other, they're so minded, in tune with each other, and by looking at their eye, by looking at their face, they can read their mind, what they want, how they are, they know immediately. So in this way, our mind completely in tune with Krishna. Yes?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
But sometimes, can we not get confused with our own desire with Krishna? So we want something, but we think we describe as this is what Krishna wants. Actually, deep down, this is coming from my own ego or my own mind. Now, how can we tell something that this is completely what Krishna wants, and that this is what really my mind or my ego or my intelligence wants? So how can we tell the difference? Because if it's nice that Krishna directly make a phone call to us, okay, Patanjali, I want you to do this one. This is my desire. That Krishna gives direct information, it'll be easier. But Krishna normally doesn't give direction like that. So how can we tell that our mind and then Krishna's mind?
Okay.
Yes, Patanjali.
We have to, again, it's a very subtle thing, but we have to realize what is the end result of that desire. Is it actually doing me some good, or is it actually for Krishna? So say, I can give my example. Sometimes I cook a lot very nice things for Krishna, and then I kind of think, is this because I want to offer it as prasadam to Krishna, or is it because I quite like it, and then once it becomes prasad, I can have it as well? So so we have to, and then that's where my desire overcomes the desire to serve Krishna, and then I have to curb it, and I have to change my mind and my thought process. So again, I could become, if the end result is solely for Krishna, without any desire for myself, but the only desire being to please Krishna or be the servant of Krishna, that is where we are successful. Otherwise, it is very much diluted with our own ego, whatever desire we have.
Thank you, Patanjali. Madhuri wanted to attract to say something as well.
Yeah, it is the full identity of the interest. I mean, your interests are fully identical with the Krishna. There's no difference. But what Krishna wants from you and what you're doing for Krishna, basically, there is a total identical interest. There's no change in the interest. What Krishna and between you there. So your total absorption in the thought of Krishna. Krishna's interest and your interest are identical. So this is where the samadhi is. There's no difference. But you still remain two individuals. You don't merge basically. In Bhagavatam, we don't go the impersonal philosophy total merging in there. Identity remains separate, but it's identical interest. Interest
Identical
remains
interest.
identical. Yes.
Patanjali, I think, gave a nice example. Sometimes, for example, let's say when you cook something,
Yeah.
let's say we want to eat pizza. So then we think, oh, maybe today Krishna wants to eat pizza. So in this way, we cook pizza for Krishna. So that sometimes we need to look at ourselves. Is that really Krishna wants to eat pizza, or is that I want to eat pizza? Yeah. So this is a simple example, but in general, in our own life, so when Krishna wants something, then already Krishna sends some signals in any form. Can be neighbor through your neighbor, can be all of a sudden from some interaction with the devotees. You know, truly, if we mind is clear, then already you will be able to catch up the signals. So that in olden days, like the sailors, by looking at the star, they know where they're going. So in this way, at night, they always look at the stars for their direction of journey. So in this way, sometimes we fall in the trap that we are listening to our own mind, but we think that is a Krishna want. But we always, whatever Krishna's want, it has to be in line with sadhu, guru, and shastra, as well as interaction with other devotees and also other incident that if you are truly sincere, then there is no doubt that it will be clear that that is a sign of Krishna. So for example, Prabhupada case that in the dream, Bhaktisiddhanta came 3 times that you follow me, like that. So that the Prabhupada took that as this is truly Guru Maharaj's order, and then this is clearly Krishna's desire. So in this way, we have to basically be aware. So that what is samadhi, it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita very clearly. So can you open up Bhagavad Gita chapter 6, text 20 to 23? Can anyone read chapter 6?
Give me 1 second. Prabhuji, can you not share the screen, or would you like me to share?
I'll share
Yeah,
the
please, if you
screen
share
then.
the screen, then we got the person called Vishali Nidhi needs to read now. So it's a hard charge, so
Okay,
you
so
can
okay,
read that, please.
okay.
Sorry, you're going to share the screen, or you want me to share? Sorry.
I'll share now. I'll share now.
Yeah,
I'm ready here.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, it's a Venu Madhuri Mataji's turn. Sorry, Vishayanjali. Wait, yeah,
Okay, yes.
Venu Madhuri Mataji's turn.
In the stage of
So this
samadhi,
is
yes.
samadhi, the description of samadhi in Bhagavad Gita. Yeah.
Chapter 6, verse 22 to 23.
Yeah.
In the stage of completely distinct from material mental activities by practice of yoga. This perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self. In that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness, realized through transcendental senses. Established thus, one never departs from the truth. And upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of greatest difficulty. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contacts.
Thank you.
Thank you. So here from chapter Bhagavad chapter 6, text 22, actually the essence of the Upanishad, the essence of all the scripture teachings. So that this is the goal, dealing with the controlling mind and then reaching the samadhi. And then this stage of perfection, Prabhupada translated as the stage of perfection. In order to reach this one, next chapter title called, 7th chapter title called, Knowledging the Absolute. In order to understand, in order to reach this one, we have to know ultimately who Krishna is, the knowledge of the Absolute, we have to know. And in chapter 8, it says attaining the Supreme. So how to get Krishna, it gives information, chapter 8. And then chapter 9, the most confidential knowledge. So out of the how to attain Krishna, Krishna gives us such a detailed secret. And then furthermore, that another aspect of Krishna, external aspect of Krishna, which is the opulence of the Absolute, that's chapter 10. And then chapter 11, finally, Arjuna saying that, give me something more. So I understand you by your saying, but someone may doubt of your statement. So if you show that you are Supreme Personality of Godhead, whatever you have spoken will be verified by all other people who are in doubt. That's why 11th chapter, universal form comes. And then after showing universal form, finally, Krishna starts to explain the direct path, easiest path to understand Krishna and to reach Krishna. That is a devotional service. So this is the essence. And then knowing who you are, knowing Krishna, then from chapter 13, Krishna gives further explanation that now how to live in this material world. So nature, enjoyer, and consciousness. And then chapter 14, if you look at chapter 14, it explains of 3 modes of nature. So in order to live in this material world, you have to know how people's motivations are, how the people are acting, the pattern of people's behaving, the pattern of people's thinking, the pattern of people's psychology. If you know that, for example, when you're even you keeping a dog or some pet animal, if you know that their pattern psychology, then you know how to deal with them. The same, so that it gives the explanation of fundamental principle of people's behavior, the material nature. So 3 modes of nature explains that. And then 15th chapter, while explaining that don't forget the yoga of Supreme Person, don't forget still Krishna. So sometimes we are involved in the material life too much that sometimes we may forget. But Krishna gives us a reminder of his existence and his future. And then chapter 16, divine and demoniac nature. Again, Krishna gives a detailed explanation of the makeup of good people and bad people, how they behave, how those who are in Tamagun, how they behave, and also food, sleep, and whatever we do, how we behave. It explains about 16th chapter. And then 17th chapter, division of faith, further explains about 3 different categories of 3 modes of nature, and then it gives a detailed explanation. And then finally, chapter 18, perfection of renunciation. Chapter 18 basically is summarized again, entire Bhagavad Gita, and then end up with surrender unto Krishna. So this is Bhagavad Gita, brief summary of Bhagavad Gita. It starts with basically how to act, remove Krishna, Arjuna's doubt, and then it gives in the chapter 6 the essence of all the Vedas, Upanishad. Then it ends with how to develop with relationship with Krishna and how to live in this material world. So now we are going back to this chapter. This verse is that Bhikshu Gita again explains the essence of and importance of how to control the mind. Yes. So this is true essence of the old Upanishad, all the knowledge is there in the Vedas. So although it may be philosophical, but if we try to understand and we try to put into practice in our day-to-day life, then after understanding of this, if we go back to from the first canto, then all the chapters, it will be very much meaningful and very much digestible for us. Yes, that's let us continue. So I'll end here. So now, how many minutes left? Or shall I take question or what shall we do, Sangeeta? You are silent.
So
Can you
yes,
mute?
we could just please 5 minutes, we can continue more. And then we can ask only one person to ask a question today because we're going to have a Damodar come as well.
Okay, so then
So only
let's
one
take a
person
question
can
now.
ask a
Up to now, let's
question
take
today.
question and then I'll explain Damodar Raskam
Yeah, that's
briefly.
fine. Is there anybody who would like to ask any questions? Hi Krishna, anyone has a question to ask? Okay, Panchali, only one question per person, yeah, for the end of the session, please.
Oh, sorry, I'm just speaking too much today. Apologies.
No, you can. But just like if you have a more question than one, then you can put it on a WhatsApp group.
Sure.
One
So just
question, so we get other people a chance as well. Thanks.
so very,
If they have
very
any questions.
quickly, Prabhuji, right at the beginning, when you mentioned about how to control the mind and always be nice to other people, not be jealous, etc. So in one of the other classes, I heard the word suhrit. That's how the relationship should be. So is it very similar to what you explained today?
Thank you. Yes, Suhurit Satam. So we have to Hurit. Very Su means very good. Hurit, very good heart. So friendly, and then we have to be
Good at heart.
We have to have warming heart towards all the living entity. Yes. Any other questions?
Anyone else has a question? Please kindly just unmute yourself.
Prabhuji, one question, or yeah, it's a question kind of. Prabhupada says, for devotees, samadhi means like King Ambarish, like all his senses and mind was engaged in worshipping Krishna. So his eyes were, looking at Krishna. His hands were like worshiping. So it is also a kind of samadhi. So King Ambarish is the best example Prabhupada gives.
Yes. So if you look at the last verse of chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita, it says, Yoginam api salvesham madgatte antar atmana shratavan bhadate yomam same yukta tamo mataha. And of all yogis, the one who with great faith, who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders transcendental loving service to me, he is the most intimately united with me in yoga, and he is the highest of all. That is my opinion. Thank you for sharing, Rupa.
Is anybody else have any questions? Please kindly unmute yourself to ask a question. Thank you. Bible. Does anybody have any questions? Then we can just begin with the Damadastakam explanation by Patanjali Prabhu. Panchali, do you still have any question because you have raised your hand? Panchali?
No, sorry, no, that's a legacy hand, sorry.
Okay, fine. All right. So yeah, that's fine then. Patanjali Prabhu, you can continue with the
Okay, so today's second verse, last week we explained the first verse. Second verse also is Lila Vishesha, the Krishna's special Lila. Rudantam muhul netra yungmam murijantam. So Rudantam is Krishna's weeping, but muhul means again and again. So then netra yungmam murijantam. So while Krishna is crying, actually Krishna keep rubbing Netra, two eyes. And also how he loving, not only one hand, karam amboja yungmena, use both hand. So sometimes they use wiping their tears with one hand. But here Krishna, he is showing his action, that is both hand, Krishna using his hand and then wiping his tears, rudantam, weeping. And then satanka netram, that eyes itself, Krishna is such a transcendental actor, so that he showing that frightened eyes, satanga netram, mur, shvasha, and also while he's crying, you know, when children cries, the breathing is like a like this, shvasha. So due to this rapid breathing, due to this breathing kampa, so Krishna body also muhushvasha kampa, body also trembling. And then trileka, reka, anka kanta. So reka, you know the Lakshman reka. What is the Lakshman reka? The line of Lakshman, you know, for protecting Sita. So here three reka, there is three line. So where is the three line? Kanta, Krishna's neck, Krishna has three line, marked with a three line like a conch. And then there, what is there? Sita Grava. The Grava, the necklace is placed on that three line marked Krishna's neck. That Damodaram Bhakti Bhattam. That Damodara is, who is it? Damodar? Here definition of Damodar is, actually he's not only bound by rope, actually he's bound by Bhakti. So Supreme Lord, who is protecting us, Supreme Lord, who is providing us everything, but actually he is bound by the love from us. So this is the meaning of the second verse. So here, most important part is here, Damodara Bhakti Bhattam. Don't forget that. Damodar is bound, the Bhakti Bhattam is bound by the rope of our Bhakti. And then here, Itidrik Sva Lilavi. Okay, Idrik, this kind of. So this kind of Sva Lila, by this kind of Lila, here is something very sweet description is here. Ananda Kunde. So in the lake Kund, you know, Radha Kund, Shama Kund, this Kund, in the lake reservoir, what kind of reservoir? Ananda Kund, the lake of transcendental happiness, transcendental bliss. Svagosham, his own village, Nimachantam. So make us drowning, make us not drowning, so make us submerging in by Itidrik Svalya, by this Lila, Krishna making us submerge in this Ananda Kun. This is the meaning. Nimajantam, make us all submerging within this Ananda Kun. So when it goes inside this Ananda Kun, you know what happens? Here, let me see everyone again. Here, anyone who did the scuba diving? Anyone who has experience of scuba diving? No one? Let me share my experience. Only once I did scuba diving, one of a tour in Middle East country I went, and then there was a program for scuba diving. So even amateur can have all the gear and then they can go. So when I was a hippie, I went to the Israel, so somehow I had the experience. You know, under the water, the scenery is absolutely amazing. The beauty itself is totally different. It's, how can I say? You know, here, whatever we see is static. So mountain, trees, is static. When wind blows, it's like moving. But under the water, all the scenery in general is not static, it's constantly moving. The moving itself very, it's gracious. You know, like sometimes snake goes like a very, only thing I can think of is the moving of snake. So inside the, you know, the grass on the fish, that's such a moving in such a way that it gives us a great peaceful kind of a feeling. And then that feature still I couldn't forget. That much is very, there is a saying, the scenery underwater is far better than scenery outside water. That's what there is saying amongst the scuba diver. So now here Krishna make us a scuba diver of Ananda Kun. So when we get submerged in this Ananda Kun, you know what happened? Akhyapayantam. Krishna is disclosing. What is Krishna disclosing? Akhyapayantam. Krishna disclosing Tariya Ishta Geshu. Krishna's his glory, which is only those who, which is only available to only those who are very much learned people. But when Krishna submerged us in this Ananda Kun, Krishna revealed that Krishna glory to revealing to us. Bhakta Chitatvam. So what kind of glory, what kind of person who received this Krishna glory? Bhakta Chitatvam, only one who is conquered by devotee. This glory also is only conquered by the devotees. No, Bhaktai Chitatvam, who is conquered by devotee. Krishna is only conquered by his devotees, but this glory itself can be revealed only these types of special people, those who really conquered Krishna by their love. Eshu Bhaktai Chitatvam. That's why Punaha, again, Paramastam Satavritti Bande. I bow down again and again. Satavritti, 100 times, literally 100 times. But Satavritti means we can do nothing but again and again paying obeisances, again and again glorifying him. How? Premataha, out of affection. Just the love comes out naturally. So that it's not that I have to bow down. No, it's automatically bowing down comes. Why? Because Krishna making us submerge in this Ananda Kun. And this is the meaning. And then Bharamdeva Mokshamna. This is an amazing verse. So here, Bharamdeva Mokshamna na Mokshava Dimba. Nachanyam Vrineham Bhareshat Apia. Aham Vrine. Vrine means choose. Choose means I want something. So here, I want something, but here, na Mokshava Dimba. I don't want Bharam, any boon, any special favor, or any material benefit, any promotion in my job, or whatever. Anything, I don't want Bharam, any boon. And also, I don't want moksha. People in general, they want moksha. Moksha actually is many forms. Some people want getting out of trouble. Some people want peaceful death. Some people want particular place to die. Some people want to die particular way. These are all different category of moksha. So some people want, when I die, Krishna sound has to come. I don't want to die in the hospital. When I want to die, on my ceiling, I need to have a Krishna picture. So there are many ways of actually we are wishing the moksha, our own moksha. And also moksha avadim, the highest level of liberation. So when I die, I want to go straight to the Golaka Vrindavan. This is called moksha avadim, the highest level liberation. So we have many wishes in my heart. But here it says, I don't want any of those. Why? Why I don't want any of this? Idam te bhapul nata kopala bhalam. Idam, here, now, kopala bhalam. So your cowed form, the bala, the boy, cowed boy form, bhapu. If that form, manasi abhirashtam, it comes in front of my eyes, manasi, that Krishna's, the little baby form, it appears in my eyes or in my mind, abhirashtam. That form, if enters, abhirashtam, literally means it enters in my mind, sada, always Krishna comes in my heart, then what is the use of all this boon? And plus, kim anyay, even any other boon, which I never mentioned before, or which I don't know, maybe some wishes may come in the future. Even that also, I don't want. So here, this verse is in line with Priti Maharaj's prayers in fourth canto. So in Yagya, Lord Vishnu appeared and then asked Prithu Maharaj, what do you want? So I came here, I appeared, so my business is giving you boon. Then Prithu Maharaj said exactly like this, I don't want anything from you. So you are like my father. Father knows what child needs, what's good for the child. So as I'm your child, if I want something that may not be good for me, for example, my son's case, he wants to have a 24 hours game on the computer. So that's what he wants, but I cannot give that what he wants. But if I allow that, then maybe it may not good for him. So in this way, what I want may not be good for me. So you know the best, so you decide. So on that verse, Prabhupada, in the purport, Prabhupada says that this is a pure devotee prayers. Pure devotee doesn't even ask for spiritual advancement either. So in this way, this verse, it shows the mentality of pure devotee. True devotee, they don't want anything. They just want Krishna comes into, Krishna walks into their heart. That's all they want. So already time we passed. Okay, so let's finish here.
So we start the Damodar Ashtakam because it's the last Tuesday for the Damodar Ashtakam, because from next Tuesday, obviously, it's our normal Sangha will finish by 7 o'clock.
Okay.
It's just today's the last Tuesday of Damodar month. So yes, Chili Mataji, would you like me to share the screen for the Damodar Ashtakam? Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, sure. 1 second.
I share this one. I'm reading the screen.
Oh, that's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Please. It's not there from the first verse. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe today we skip the reading of translation, so because we explained some already. So
yeah, that's fine.
We just
so
sing.
We just sing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Do I start?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah.
Namamishvaram Sachid Anandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yashodabhyo Kaladhabamanam Param Rishtamatyanta Dodrutya Gopya. Do I sing just once and carry on?
Yeah, please carry on.
Namamishwaram Sachid Anandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Netra Yugman Majantam Karambojayugmena shatakatritram Muhoswashakam patri rekakakantai Sritagrevam ramodaram bhaktivandam Namamishwaram Sachit Anandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Iti Drikshvalilabhir Anandakunde Swagosham Nimajantam Akyapayantam Tadiye Shitageshu Bhaktir Jitatvam Pana Prematastam Shata Vritivande Namameshwaram Sachit Anandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Varam Deva Moksham Na Moksha Badimba Nachanya Mirneham Varishada Piha Idam Te Vapurnata Gopala Balam Sadame Manashyabir Ashdam Kimadhyay Namashmi Idam Te Mukambojam Atyam Tamile Vritam Kuntalashni Dharaktaisha Gopya Muhoshcham Vitam Bimba Raktadharam Me Manashya Virashtamalam Lakshavlavai Namo Deva Damodar Ananta Vishnu Prasida Prabodhu Kajalabdi Magnam Kripa Drishti Vistati Dinam Vatanu Grihane Shamam Agnyam Idhyak Sridarya Drashya Kuverat Majau Bada Murti Bhatyad Tvaya Mochitau Bhakti Bhajau Kritau Cha Tata Prema Bhaktim Swakame Prayacha Namokshe Graho Misti Damodare Namaste Sudamini Spruradiv Tidamne Tradiyo Darayata Vishvayadamne Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaye Namo Nantalilaya Divaya Tubhyam Namo Namamishwaram Sachit Anandarupam Mam Gokule Brajamanam Yashoda Bilokalo Ala Jabayanamanam Param Rishtamatyanta To Drutya Gopya Namamishwaram Sachit Anandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Radha Damodar, Radha Damodar, Radha Damodar, Shri Radhe. Jai Radha Damodar, Radha Damodar, Radha Damodar, Radhe Shyam. Jai Jai Yashoda Mudara, Yashoda Mudara, Yashoda Mudara, Yashoda Mudara. Jai Radha Gokula, Jai Radha Gokula, Jai Radha Gokula, Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, Jai Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jai Gauranitai, 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 Jai Gauranitai. Jai Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jai Mataji. It was wonderfully sang. Really wonderful. Thank you so much. Please accept for my wishes. Shall we just do the closing prayer, because I think we're already running out of time.
Okay, yes, I'll do closing prayers without further announcement. So I guess no announcement. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Just before you say, I just wanted to say that anybody who would like to know to do summary next week, please kindly WhatsApp on the group, and the group chat is open. So you can also share your realization or whatever message you would like to pass to Patanjali Muni Prabhu. Please kindly to share your opinion, your suggestions, and how you finding the class and what can be done for the improving. If you can just personally message us, that would be great. Thank you. Hi, Mo.
Thank you. Om Salve Bhavantu Sukhina, Salve Santu Niramaya, Salve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kashyit Tukabhak Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Asato Ma Satkamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Pancha kalpa tarubhasya kripa sindhu bheva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo